Hello. So I just crossed 60,000 miles. So let's talk about how the car is doing so far. First of all, as far as driving is concerned, it still feels exactly the same as it does on December 16th of 2016 when I got it. Um, Another thing is I don't have much of a problem getting either rated mileage or very close to the rated mileage that I'm supposed to be able to get. Living in Louisiana, I think the warm climate helps. And pretty much anytime we take a trip, the predicted mileage that we would have remaining always seems to be pretty conservative. One thing I am noticing about the car after 60,000 miles is there are some squeaks. You might not be able to hear it now, but I heard it was something about the airbags in the seats that can cause some squeaks. I really only notice it when I'm driving over a bumpy type of road. Another thing I've noticed is the regen feels a little weaker now, but I'm not sure if it actually is weaker or if I'm just getting used to it. So as far as charging is concerned, with supercharging, I have free supercharging. I've never had to wait to use a supercharger, and I've never had to share a paired stall. And in Baton Rouge, I've only seen that supercharger full. It only has 6 stalls. I've only seen it full maybe 3 or 4 times. For home charging, I use my mobile connector. I've been using it the whole time. That's the majority of my charging. For now, I'm giving mine a break, and we're going to use my wife's charger for a couple years or for however long, because hers has a warranty now. Battery degradation in 2016, in December of 2016, 90% charge was 216 miles. Today, 90% is about 212 miles. But it doesn't always charge to the exact same number. Sometimes it's 210, sometimes it's 211. And even back then, sometimes it'll be maybe 215 or 217. But the number I normally got back then was 216. And the number I normally get today is 212. So let's talk about my configuration and do I have any regrets for any options I didn't choose. The main one, of course, is autopilot. I didn't get autopilot, and I still don't have any regrets. I've had a lot of free trials, and I actually enjoy the auto steer, but the braking that traffic aware cruise control gives you is just still a little bit too much for me. When I got my car, I got it as a software locked S75. My options were either that, the 75D, the 90D, and the P100D. The P100D was just obviously just way out of my price range. I realized I don't really drive that much in one day, so the 90 probably wasn't really necessary, and the dual motors really isn't necessary for the weather we get. It's nice pretty much all year round. I actually saved a lot of money by waiting to upgrade from the software lock 60 to a 75 when they dropped the price of doing that to $2,000. The bigger batteries do supercharge faster, and that would have been nice to have. In my car, I've never been over 95 kilowatts at a supercharger. If the upgraded seats that I didn't choose back then are like the seats in my wife's car right here, then I'm kind of happy with what I have. I find those seats to be a little overly bolstered, and they kind of squeeze me in and it feels a little tight. They were obviously made for people a lot smaller than me, and I like the seats I have now. The textile seats are holding up really well. I don't see any tears or rips or any fibers or anything sticking out like that. So I'm really happy with that choice. Even after all the Uber rides and Lyft rides and using the car for Amazon Flex and road trips and having the foster kids in the car and going to work and having to wear steel-toe boots all the time, everything's holding up really well. I didn't get the premium audio. I like the way the audio sounds in this car. I think it has a nice sound system, but it doesn't sound as good as the sound system in my wife's car. It has fuller bass, and it's just a more immersive sound. One regret I have is not getting the all-glass roof. It was $1,000 at the time, but it had just came out, and I didn't get an opportunity to see anyone else's experience of the glass roof. So I would have been kind of a test monkey, and I didn't want to do that because I was worried about heat coming in the car. But one thing I should have taken into consideration is this is an all black car. It's parked outside most of the time. It's going to be hot regardless. Another option I could have got back then was air suspension. And I've had a lot of issues with air suspension in the trucks, and I know it's definitely not the same as what you have in cars, but just from that, I kind of didn't want it. I didn't want to have to deal with the maintenance. I know the regular car suspension is just easier to maintain, so I just wanted to go with that. But I do wonder if the ride would be, I guess, quieter, because the Model X has a much quieter ride than my car. So I wonder if I wouldn't notice the road noise as much if I had air suspension. The power liftgate is one thing I wish I could have got. It was bundled in with the premium upgrades package at the time. That had a lot of things that I didn't really want, so I kind of just didn't worry about it. But I will be looking into doing an aftermarket power liftgate. I've seen some that seem to work pretty well. I also decided not to go with the extended service agreement. Just based on the amount of miles that I drive, it's not going to really be worth it for me. The cost was $2,100 for 2 years and 25,000 miles, and $4,250 for 4 years and 50,000 miles. At the rate that I put miles on my cars, I would have ate through those miles in a very short amount of time, and it probably wouldn't have had any issues. And there's like a $200 per visit deductible you have to pay. So the car's been treating me good so well, so I don't think I would have that type of issue. Let's talk about software updates and app updates since I got the car. The web browser, I still pretty much only use it for Waze. It's been getting slightly better over time, but it's not that much better than it was when it originally came out. It is a little more usable. I like that we can start updates when we're away from the car now. You used to have to physically be in the car to start an update. Now you can just do it from your phone. That was a feature a lot of people wanted. Tesla listened, and we don't have to run out to the garage anymore to start an update. Another feature I like is I can send an address directly from my phone to my car, and the time it takes me to walk to my car, the car will have it routed out and ready for me to go. I guess my only issues with the app is I wish I could lower the windows from the app. I could let out a ton of heat without using so much battery to cool the car down. And I guess the app does seem a little slower now that we have 2 vehicles on it. I guess it just has to load both vehicles, and then maybe I just need to get a faster phone. I've had my phone for a while now. Here are some general things about the car that I think could be better that I've noticed after 60,000 miles. I like the door handles, but I think future editions of the Model S should have door handles more similar to the Model X. It's cool that they pop out and everything, but it would be more cool if the door would just open on its own. And if the front doors on the Model X can open on their own, I don't see why the front doors and the rear doors on the Model S can't open on their own. Another thing that could be better about the car is the wipers. I've talked about this before. They aren't very good. They aren't that good at sensing rain, and they don't wipe fast enough for me. The air conditioning system, I wish it had a little more power, particularly for the back seats. And since version 9, I feel like it's a little bit more difficult to change the settings on the air conditioner. But I'm one of the people who just like version 8 a lot more than version 9. Another thing about this car I've noticed is the windshield fogs up in this car more than any car I've ever had. And basically the only way to get it to not fog up like that, like even if you don't have the vents on, you have to turn the air all the way to the lowest setting. And sometimes you don't want to do that because that might not be comfortable at the time. I talked about this yesterday. One problem with the air conditioner is it won't work if it senses the temperature is below freezing outside. But if you go through a touchless car wash, it somehow affects that sensor and it will start reading -30 and a lot of temperatures jumping up and down below 30 degrees. And that will cause the air conditioner not to come on. So at least in a refreshed Model S, I think Tesla probably could reconsider the location of that temperature sensor. One thing that might be the most disappointing thing about the car is the daytime running lights. I had them replaced about a year ago because they were burning out toward the center, and they're starting to burn out again. The other things I have are a little nitpicky. The horn is a little overly aggressive, and I've had a hard time finding all-weather mats that fit the driver's seat perfectly. The ones from Tesla, I don't think they're very good. They don't cover up the full bottom of the floor, so you could easily just kick dirt right underneath them, and they start to warp around the edges, which is weird because they're made by WeatherTech, and I've had nothing but good products from WeatherTech. Now let's talk about some things I hope they never change. The frunk, it's a great place to put a gym bag. It's the perfect size, and it's shielded away so you don't have to worry about it smelling up the car. Storage in general is great in this car. We've done trips to Lowe's, we've picked up a treadmill, small furniture. I've had a carload of Uber passengers and their luggage. It's like the sky's the limit. It's kind of like having an SUV. There are some things I don't like about version 9, but the 17-inch screen is still the king. I had a chance to get in a Jaguar I-Pace and kind of play around with it a little bit, and the touchscreens on it just felt completely unusable compared to what I'm used to. And I probably would have never said that had I never had this luxury of a big 17-inch screen where everything is nice and big right in front of me. So what repairs have I had? I did have that one flat tire. I ended up replacing both rear tires, and I just kept the other one as a spare. I had a windshield chip. The insurance covered that. I accidentally washed one of my key fobs almost immediately after I got my car because I wasn't used to not needing to take it out, so I just forgot all about it and I washed it, and it cost $125 to get that fixed. They replaced one of my mirrors. They replaced one of my mirrors for warranty. That was free. They replaced my headlights under warranty, and they replaced my center screen from the yellowing marks around the edge under warranty. One of the main things people want to know is how much you save when you have a Tesla. So I did the math. 60,000 miles, 0.296 kilowatt hours per mile, and I'm going to assume that the phantom drain that I have in the car is going to be equal to the amount of free supercharging I have. So we'll just assume that all the charging I did was at home. So that means I used 17,760 kilowatt hours at an average of 9 cents per kilowatt hour, means I spent $1,598 in electricity. So if that was gas, the average price of gas in Louisiana since December of 2016 is about $2.28 a gallon. And a car around this size, like a fairly comparable car, would have get about 25 miles per gallon. 60,000 miles, 25 miles per gallon, $2.28 per gallon would be $5,472 in gas. That's a fuel savings of $3,874 over 60,000 miles. Also, with that amount of mileage, I would have had to get about 12 oil changes at about $40 a pop, because I'm not going to do it myself. That's another $480. So the savings over not having an internal combustion engine is $4,354. I do tell people a lot, it is an expensive car. It probably isn't the one you should be going to if you're looking to save money because of the sticker price is so high, but it is more comparable to a cheaper car because of all the savings you'll have. So after adding in the battery upgrade, my car would have had a sticker price of $68,200. If you take out the $7,500 I got in federal tax credits, and the $6,912 I got in state tax credits, and the $4,354 I've saved in fuel so far, then we really could be comparing it to a car that costs $49,434. So after 60,000 miles, I can confidently say that there's a 0% chance that I will ever get a gas-powered car again. And honestly, it's highly unlikely that I will get a non-Tesla ever again. And I'm open to the idea of getting a non-powered Tesla electric car, but I haven't seen anything that's currently in production or announced that I would buy over a S, a Model 3, or a Model X, or a Model Y. So that's my 60,000 mile review. Let me know what you think in the comments, and you can feel free to send an email if you have any questions.